So, another day, another absolutely incompetent coaching performance from Christie Sides. Like, I don't understand how it gets worse, but it just keeps getting worse. And if you guys are in agreement with me, if you guys think that Christie Sides did a terrible job today, leave a like on this video. If we could hit 500, that would be great. And if you guys think Christie Sides should be fired, go subscribe to this channel. I don't know what the hell we're going to end up with today. By the end of the day, I wanted to hit 13.1k and we're at 13.3k. So thank you guys so much for all the support in the channel recently. It's been incredible. But we got to talk about that last game. And as someone who watched the game and is not a box score watcher, let me explain the situation. Caitlin Clark shot the ball twice in the second half. The first time was 1 minute into the third quarter. The second time was a 30-foot bomb after not barely touching the ball in a shooting position for 13 minutes. The big problem with Christie Sides, and it's not even necessarily that she's not running plays for Caitlin Clark. She's not even running plays for her gravity. It is literally like, it's crazy. It is crazy watching these games. And obviously, like, breaking down plays, like, I'm a major risk for copyright, so look, I can't show the plays. But let me just try to explain the situation right here. So, I might, you know what, I'm just going to see if I can get Microsoft Paint up. I'm just going to see if I can get Paint online. Because that will really help me out here. If I can get Paint online. So, yeah, I got Paint right here. Now, this is where we're going right here. So, I got Paint. So, see right here. This is the half court. 3-point line here. Caitlin Clark here. Screener. Boston here. They would have Nalissa Smith here. Whoever was there, let's just say Christy Wallace here. And who was the other wing? Mitchell here. This is what they would run. The screen roll, Boston would roll to here. Nalissa Smith would run out to here. And what would then happen was the ball went to Boston. So the ball would go to Boston here. But when Caitlin Clark comes off this, the defenders blitz here. They blitz here. The defender that's guarding Nalissa Smith stays here. She's on the short roll. So what happens is Boston has the ball on the top of the key. There are people standing around the outside. This defender's staying here because they know this pass to here is not a three-point threat. Kelsey Mitchell just stands there in the corner watching, and her defender, because Caitlin Clark is here with the ball, Kelsey Mitchell's defender is playing in this position here. When Caitlin Clark comes off the screen into this position, there is a defender here. There is a defender here, leaving Aaliyah Boston wide open for that pass. And so they're in a situation where, realistically, what should happen is, if Nalissa Smith comes out to here, the defender comes and follows her. It's one defender that's guarding the two of the, or it's her defender is there, and there's a player here. This cut might be on. If this cut's on, this player has to come here. Nalissa Smith should be wide open because this one defender can't guard two. But Nalissa Smith's scared to shoot, so she just stands there and gets it. Half the time the ball gets to Nalissa Smith, she does this big long pump fake and then drives in on three different people and gets blocked every single time. The corners are never open, but the drive is not on because people are like, she needs to be more aggressive on the drive. When Caitlin Clark comes off that screen, she can't turn the corner because this defender is here. She can't pull up to shoot because this defender is stopping that. And Aaliyah Boston wants to go to the short roll here. She goes to the short roll here. Cool. A lot of times she's catching the ball in this range here. She's got to be aggressive off that. Aaliyah Boston's got to be aggressive off that and drive and attack here. What that does is it engages this defender here. So Nalissa Smith's going to be so wide open, maybe she'll shoot that shot. But worst case scenario, she's kicking to a more rhythm shot. She's able to engage the defender here. She's able to shoot that 15-foot jump shot wide the F open. But she won't shoot it anymore because what is now happening is that Aaliyah Boston, when she misses one shot, she gets blocked once, her confidence goes. And they don't have any other sets. They run one set off a blitz. They stopped running the double stagger screen. They ran a double stagger screen. This is what they ran when they were nearly beaten teams. This is why teams stopped hard blitzing the screens. Like, this is literally why teams stopped hard blitzing the screens. So we're going to go back to paint right here. We're going to go back to paint, and we're going to draw it up. We're going to draw it up pretty badly, but this is the play they stopped doing it. So let's just say, again, 3-point line, free throw line, yada yada. So what they were running was this. So Clark was there. Aaliyah Boston would come up, set the first screen. Whoever, I think it was Melissa Smith, would set the second screen. So what would happen then is they would have to blitz off because they weren't going to let Caitlin Clark pull up in this position here. Whoever was guarding Aaliyah Boston was stepping up so that they were in a double switch situation. So what was happening is that they couldn't blitz because it was big on big. Because whoever was guarding Melissa Smith and guarding Aaliyah Boston, because they'd already switched the big onto Caitlin Clark, they would have to switch that second screen because they couldn't do a double blitz of that, because of the double blitz meant that there would be two bigs on Caitlin Clark, and an Aaliyah Boston dive to the basket could have sealed a post player, could have sealed the guards. So they were getting into situations where off that screen, initially they would play high, but almost every single time, off the first time they ran it, whoever was guarding Aaliyah Boston would step back into here. So basically, Caitlin Clark was kind of open here. It was Melissa Smith's man, whoever was setting the second screen, was not even having to overplay. They were trying to overplay, which meant that off the drive, Caitlin Clark had the ability to split that screen. They weren't willing to take that risk. So what they were doing basically was they were dropping back into this position right here, and Caitlin Clark's player was trying to follow over. So basically, all that ended up happening was that Caitlin Clark was able to turn the corner every single time. And a lot of the time, Aaliyah Boston was able to dive off that, and they were getting a bunch of looks off it. But they went away from it because, I don't know, because maybe the high pick and roll worked because Cardoso was there on the screen. It's not going to work when Magbagor or Neko Wumake are there. But this is what we have when we have a completely incompetent offensive mind who can't even just read and react to defense. They ran the exact same play for the entire game and it didn't work. Caitlin Clark had 12 points in the first half and everyone's like, oh, Caitlin Clark, she stopped shooting. Caitlin Clark shot some of the dumbest shots I've ever seen, but they went in. She shot a half-court catch-and-shoot shot. She shot a curl around screen, 30-footer falling away, hitting the deck from three. Her 3 points in the second half was a behind the back, falling to the right, 30-foot fadeaway shot where she got hit on a landing. And then another shot off the inbound play was not even a rhythm shot. A rhythm shot for Caitlin Clark is a Corver shot coming off a pin down. She's shooting basically Corver pin down shots or Reddick pin down shots from 30 feet. They are the looks that Caitlin Clark's shooting. Of the 9 shots she shot, the vast majority of them are them. And that is not on Caitlin Clark, that's on a coach. If they are the only shots your player can shoot, and even, look, Kyle Corver and JJ Reddick were probably better shooters than Caitlin Clark, but at least their teams were able to draw plays to get them open at the 3-point line, not 7 feet behind the 3-point line. They weren't having to shoot half-court shots to get open. And again, you know the blitz is coming. You know the blitz is coming before the game. Draw up a play to stop the blitz. Draw up some sort of a play. Literally, all you have to do is go with what works. Run that stagger screen. They can't blitz the stagger screen. They cannot blitz the stagger screen. All you have to do is connect on the first screen, and they're not going to blitz the stagger screen because the blitz the stagger screen means that you have to send two bigs to Caitlin Clark, and Aaliyah Boston running down and sealing a guard is open, so they cannot blitz it. That is the problem, is they can't. You have a play. It's very, very simple to stop the blitz. You are literally setting up your team to fail. You are giving the ball to Aaliyah Boston a foot inside the 3-point line because that's where she's told to go. She's told to go into the short roll high. The problem is when she gets the ball into short roll, there's nothing is on. There's a pass to Melissa Smith for her big long pump fake. She'll never shoot the ball, so she's a non-threat, which allows her player to step in, which doesn't even give Aaliyah Boston the ability to take her man on one-on-one. Or it doesn't even give Aaliyah Boston the ability to, because her player is still on Caitlin Clark, to get it and just go head down to the basket because Melissa Smith's a non-threat there on the wing. Do something with Melissa Smith. Tell her to cut. Tell her to do something. Tell her to cut and tell whoever's in the corner is to lift. Do something even as simple as that and you're going to get more shots. In the third quarter, you got so many free shots because Erica Wheeler just literally, wherever Caitlin Clark went, she just spotted up on the opposite side. She spotted up on the opposite wing. No matter what, she was wide open for in that third quarter. She actually did a decent job off the ball. And that is not thanks to you, Christie Sides. That's thanks to a player that's thinking, my man, I'm not being guarded. Let me spot up. And that's literally what they did. They did not guard Erica Wheeler. They did not guard Christy Wallace. They did not guard Lexi Hull. They did not guard Melissa Smith. Their entire defense was to guard Caitlin Clark. And it worked. Because they're thinking, okay, we're just going to guard Caitlin Clark because we don't think any other player on this team is a threat. We know that if they go inside to Leah Boston in a one-on-one, NECA or Magbagor are stopping them scoring. They know that if they go to Alyssa Smith one-on-one, they're stopping scoring. A drive to the basket, the ball moves so slowly for Indiana that they're going to be able to recover on time. How a team can get into a 3-on-2 situation, not even 4-on-3 because they kind of guard the corner. Because not even they didn't guard the corner. The corner could have cut and been open a couple of times. The corner never cut. Caitlin Clark, every single time she drove right off that screen, they literally, 3 of their defenders were engaged on Caitlin Clark. They were in a situation where you had a 1-on-0 on the cut on the strong side, or on the weak side, you had a 3-on-2, especially because Caitlin Clark never even looked for the cut. She literally took one dribble to the right and then threw the pass to the short roll. She did it every single time. If she went left, she would hit Leah Boston on a short roll. Obviously, that's what she's being told to do. She's drawing a double team. Someone's going to be open. But nothing ever came from it. Why? Because they run the same play over and over and over again. It doesn't matter how many times it doesn't work, they're going to run the same play over and over again. The only reason this was not a 30-point game was that in the second quarter, Caitlin Clark just decided to go berserk. She decided to go berserk. She was running down the floor, drawing quadruple teams, kicking the ball from one corner to the other. And it's like madness. And the players were hitting shots. There was one play in the third quarter where it's like, some of the passes that she was throwing in the quarter, she literally came off a blitz in the third quarter, took a escape dribble to draw the 2 players, and from 3 feet outside the 3-point line, the right wing, darted it literally through all these hands into the corner to Alyssa Smith, brick. There was another one where Alyssa Smith actually dived to the basket. She threw about 10 hands into Alyssa Smith's hands. Yeah, Caitlin Clark's going to turn the ball over. She's going to be turnover prone. That's her style of play. But you need to run something. Because at the end of the day, one of the biggest problems with this team is, for people saying you need to run more plays for Caitlin Clark, I agree, you need to run more plays for Caitlin Clark. But you need to do one of 2 things. You need to run plays for Caitlin Clark, or you need to run plays where you can take an advantage of the gravity Caitlin Clark has. Caitlin Clark was never, unless she wanted to shoot really dumb shots, she was never going to shoot the ball more than 11 times today. But the Seattle Storm were perfectly content with stopping Caitlin Clark and leaving every other person open. And that is on you. That is on you. Because they were not put into a position to succeed. You need to know that there are going to be teams in this league that their whole tactic is going to be to stop Caitlin Clark. That was all Seattle tried to do. They did not try to guard anyone other than Caitlin Clark on this team. But the fact that she didn't put in a single new set, not only put in a single new set, she took away the one set. It's not even a set, it's just a starting play. And then it's the same plays every single game for Caitlin Clark. I'm sorry. I don't study film. I know exactly what plays you're running. If Caitlin Clark starts with the ball on the left-hand side of the floor, Caitlin Clark comes off a pin down. Whoever it is dribbles, and Caitlin Clark comes off a pin down, the ball's going to her. If Caitlin Clark starts on the right-hand side of the floor, a lot of the time she's going to, again, she's coming off the pin down. If Caitlin Clark gets the ball, passes it to the post, and cuts, she's going to go to the low block and then come off a pin down. If Caitlin Clark, and it's one pin down, by the way, nothing major, no floppy plays, no plays to get anyone else open. There is one option and one option only on this. There's not 3, 4, 5 options off this play. If it's a quick hitter and if the first option doesn't work, then the play just breaks down and no one knows what's going on. Or you have another play where Caitlin Clark starts on the left wing. She gets pushed through. She goes and sets a screen for Aaliyah Boston. The screens never connect. Caitlin Clark can't set screens. Nobody in this team can set screens. The screen doesn't connect and she comes off. She sets a screen for Aaliyah Boston where they don't look for Aaliyah Boston off that. The first option on this play should be Caitlin Clark screening for Aaliyah Boston getting the ball under the basket, turning and scoring, but they haven't looked at that once this year. So teams don't even guard that. Teams don't even guard that action anymore. It's just like we're only going to look for the final option on a quick hitter, like you're 12 years old. And then Caitlin Clark comes off a pin down. They literally have 2 plays where she starts in the corner, come off pin downs, or 2 specific plays. One where she gets pushed down on the left-hand side of the floor, and one where she passes it to a player at the top of the 3-point line and cuts in. Every single action is just one single pin down. Nothing. No cuts, no attempt to get any other player free. It is the least creative offenses I have ever seen. I have never seen anything like this at the professional level. And the worst part is that everybody knows Caitlin Clark is going to get blitzed. Everybody knows it. So why not draw up at least a couple of sets? Not just a freelance that doesn't work because you've got players that are just confused at what the hell they're doing. Drop something. Use Caitlin Clark's gravity, because if you can use Caitlin Clark's gravity a couple of times to get players free, whether that be at the basket, the problem was you couldn't get anything at the basket because they were confident enough that they could just plant one of their other bigs under the basket, and you're good. You're completely good. All you have to do is run Caitlin Clark in a couple of decoy plays and get some scores off it, and then put the ball back in her hands. But the problem is that Christie Sides goes 10 minutes running the same play over and over again, and then when Caitlin Clark is not playing the one, you run the same pin down play 17 times in a row. Then it might work the first time, but then teams realize it and they just go above the screen. They just jump the screen. She's never going to be open. Like, it's just complete incompetence, and I don't understand it. Like, I'm not by any means qualified to coach at the WNBA level. I'm by no means, like, I am an assistant coach for a semi-professional basketball team. I am by no means equipped to coach a professional team, especially a professional team at this level. There are thousands of people more like qualified than me to coach this team, but I'm telling you right now, I could do a better job in this team, coaching this team, than Christie Sides. And I am by no means qualified to coach in WNBA. She is incompetent.